Have you ever met someone and felt an uncanny sense of recognition? Not just in love, but a friend, a mentor, or even a brief encounter that felt anything but random, as if they arrived at the perfect moment, holding a missing piece of your life's puzzle. But how do you truly know if that connection is a signpost on your soul's journey, or simply a temporary, painful lesson in disguise? Is it just a happy coincidence, or is something much deeper, much more intelligent, happening just beneath the surface of your life? Today, drawing on the profound wisdom of the great psychologist Carl Jung, we're going to explore exactly why certain people enter your life. And the answer has less to do with fate or destiny, and more to do with a reflection of what's happening deep within you. Right now, Carl Jung didn't believe in random chance. To him, the people who enter your life aren't accidents. They are powerful reflections of something happening in your own psyche, even if you're not fully aware of it yet. He called this phenomenon synchronicity, those uncanny, magical moments when your inner world and the outer world align so perfectly it sends a shiver down your spine. Have you ever thought about someone you haven't seen in years, only to have them call you the next day? That's synchronicity. Most of us spend our lives thinking we're making choices based on pure logic. But beneath it all, your unconscious is the true, silent navigator of your ship. It is constantly steering you toward the people and experiences necessary for your growth. Whether it's a wound that needs healing, a challenge to overcome, or a connection that will help you become more of who you were always meant to be. So, the real question isn't, why did this person show up? It is, what part of me, what silent call from my own soul, invited them into my life? Once you begin to ask that question, the patterns in your relationships will never look the same again. So how do you know if a connection is real and aligned, or just an illusion created by your unmet needs and hidden fears? Jung believed that every relationship acts as a mirror, reflecting back the parts of yourself you're either courageously embracing or unconsciously avoiding. If you find yourself constantly shrinking, hiding pieces of who you really are, or contorting yourself into a shape that pleases someone else, that's not a real connection. That is survival mode disguised as love. In a truly aligned connection, whether with a friend, a mentor, or a life partner, there is no ongoing battle between who you are and who you feel you have to be. It's like finally coming home to a space where you can take off the heavy armor, breathe deeply, and be celebrated for the messy, beautiful truth of who you are. Jung called this the process of individuation, the sacred journey of becoming whole, of peeling away the masks and embracing your truest self. And here's the secret. When you commit to this path, you naturally begin to attract people who resonate with your soul's truth. Not because they magically appear, but because you finally have the clarity to recognize them and the courage to release those who no longer belong. Think about it. How often have you held on to relationships that drained you, where love felt like a transaction and simply being yourself was never quite enough? That isn't connection. That's attachment born from fear. Real connection doesn't demand that you betray your essence. It invites you to become more of who you already are. Your body is a brutally honest friend. It doesn't know how to lie, And when a relationship is out of alignment, it will send you signals. At first, they're subtle. A feeling of restlessness, small moments of discomfort you brush off, but if you ignore them, those signals get louder. You start feeling drained after spending time with certain people, as if your life force has been quietly siphoned away. You wake up tired, no matter how many hours you sleep. Anxiety becomes a low hum in your chest. These aren't random symptoms. They are loving alarms from your nervous system, screaming, "This is not in alignment." You are giving away more energy than you are receiving. Your most meaningful connections will never leave you feeling empty. With the right people, you experience a quiet sense of ease. You will breathe deeper. You will feel lighter. Your nervous system doesn't lie. We live in a world that teaches us to fear being alone. It whispers that solitude is a sign of failure. But what if that is the biggest lie we've been told? Jung taught that solitude isn't a punishment. It's a sacred space where you finally stop performing and start hearing the voice you've drowned out for so long, your own. The most important question you can ever ask is not, "Who will love me?" but, "Can I love me when no one else is around?" Until you learn to feel whole on your own, every relationship you enter will be built on need, not love. You will try to fill your own empty spaces with someone else's presence, and it will never be enough. But when you embrace solitude, something incredible happens. You stop searching for someone to complete you and start becoming the whole person you were always meant to be. And that is when everything changes. The right people will find their way to you, not because you're chasing them, but because your wholeness has become a magnetic force. Have you ever found yourself in a relationship where, no matter how much you gave, it never felt like enough? You were constantly chasing their approval, feeling unseen and unappreciated. Jung would tell you, this isn't about them, this is about you. This is your unconscious mind projecting your hidden beliefs onto the people around you. Your unconscious is like a movie projector. Your unhealed beliefs about your worth, your lovability, are the film. The people you attract are the blank screen. You don't see them for who they are. You see them through the filter of your own inner story. If deep down you believe you're not good enough, you will unconsciously draw in people who confirm that belief. This isn't fate, it's a feedback loop. Have you felt overlooked while secretly struggling to see your own worth? Have you felt abandoned while emotionally abandoning yourself time and time again? These patterns aren't here to punish you. They're here to wake you up. The moment you recognize the projection, you take back your power. You realize that healing doesn't start when someone else finally sees your worth. It starts when you do. Picture this. You're standing in front of two doors. One is familiar, worn, and perhaps a little broken. But you know exactly what's behind it, the same patterns, the same pains. The other door is new, unknown, and might require you to be a different, more courageous person to walk through it. This second door is the door of authentic connection. So how do we find the courage to turn away from the familiar and step through the new one? And what are the signs that tell us a connection is not just a reflection of our past, but a doorway to our future? That is where we must journey next. You are standing before two doors. The handle of the first door is familiar, worn smooth because you've opened it 1,000 times before. Behind it lies everything you've ever known, the comfort of predictability. And yes, the same predictable ache, the same disappointments, the same unfulfilling patterns. It is the devil, you know. And then there's the other door. It's new, untouched, and its handle feels strange and cool beneath your fingers. Behind it lies uncertainty, change, and the terrifying, exhilarating possibility that your life could be different. Most people, when faced with this choice, choose the familiar door. Why? Because even if it hurts, at least they know what to expect. The unknown is far scarier than any pain they've already learned to live with. Jung believed this is the great human tragedy. We would rather suffer the familiar than risk the discomfort of transformation. But here's what no one tells you. Every time you choose that old door, you are not just choosing your past, you are actively rejecting your future. You are sending a message to the universe that says, I'm not ready, I'm not worthy, I'll stay here where it's safe, even if it slowly breaks me. But if you are brave enough, just once, to reach for that new door, something changes. Yes, it's terrifying at first. Yes, it will challenge every belief you've held about who you are. But beyond that door is freedom. It is the life you keep saying you want, the one filled with authentic connections, with peace, and with the kind of love that doesn't demand you lose yourself to keep it. So, no one can open that door for you, but know that the bravest thing you can ever do is take one trembling step toward the life you've always been too afraid to claim. Let's be honest, how many times have you ignored that quiet, almost imperceptible feeling that something just wasn't right? Maybe it showed up as a tightness in your chest, a subtle anxiety before a phone call, or that uneasy pause before you said, I love you, and waited far too long for it to be returned. And yet, you stayed. Your mind is a brilliant lawyer. It can argue any case. It will create elaborate justifications to keep you in familiar places. Even when they hurt, it will tell you it's just a phase. Things will get better or worse. You're being too sensitive, but your body, your intuition, it never lies. Jung believed that intuition is the pure, unfiltered language of the unconscious. It's the quiet whisper from the deepest part of your psyche, trying to guide you long before your conscious mind catches up. When you're in the presence of someone who is truly right for you, that voice doesn't scream warnings. It hums with a quiet calm. You don't feel like you're walking on eggshells. There are no exhausting mental gymnastics trying to decipher their mixed signals. Instead, you simply feel peace. That is the difference. Real connection feels like coming home, not like entering a battlefield. We have been sold a dangerous myth that love should be a dramatic war zone, full of intense highs and crushing lows. But that isn't passion. That is a trauma bond. True, healthy, enduring love doesn't demand that you suffer for it. It doesn't make you question your worth every day. It feels like a sanctuary. It feels like coming home after a long journey and finally being able to set down your heavy bags. There is ease. There is space for you to breathe and be fully yourself, without fear. And if you're honest with yourself, you already know the difference. Your intuition has told you, over and over again, The question is, are you finally ready to listen? Because peace doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it's just a soft voice within that says, you don't have to live like this anymore. If there is one fundamental truth we all need to face, it is this: you cannot attract what you are not yet ready to hold. So many people go through life searching for a partner, hoping someone will finally come along and make them feel whole. But love doesn't work that way. Imagine trying to build a beautiful house on a fractured foundation. No matter how stunning the house is, it will eventually crumble until you heal the parts of yourself that feel unworthy, until you stop looking for someone else to fill the voids you've left unattended. Every relationship you enter will be a reflection of your own unfinished business. You either chase people who can't love you back, or you'll push away the ones who can, because deep down, you don't believe you deserve them. Healing isn't something you do after you find love. It is what you must do before, so that when love finally arrives, you can actually recognize it for what it is. And here is the beautiful part. When you do this work, when you become the most authentic version of yourself and embrace every scar, something magical shifts. You no longer have to chase love. You no longer have to beg for attention or settle for less than you deserve. You become the beacon of love, and from that place, the right person doesn't complete you. They simply come home to you. So the ultimate question is not, when will the right one show up? The question is, am I becoming the person who no longer needs saving? Because when you do that, when you finally come home to yourself and learn to love the person you find there, that's when real love walks through the door, effortlessly and without fanfare, because it recognizes the space you've created as its own home. If these words found their way to you today, perhaps it's not by accident. Perhaps it's a quiet reminder from your own soul that before you search for the right person, you must first become the right person for yourself. Are you still waiting for someone to make you feel whole? Or are you ready to stand tall in your own light, knowing that you are already enough? This channel is a space dedicated to that very journey. If you are ready to stop searching without and start finding within, I invite you to subscribe and join our community. Your story matters. In the comments below, share one step you will take this week to come home to yourself. Your words might be the permission slip someone else needs to hear today. And if you know someone who is searching for love but forgetting to love themselves first, share this video with them. Together, let's create a space where healing, growth, and authentic connection are not just possible, but inevitable. Until next time, remember, take care of yourself first. That's where all true love begins.